Let me start.
Okay.
Started.
Yeah, thank you. So, Anika, you can share your screen and then you can start.
Sure. So, okay, so hope everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, Anika. Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes.
Okay. So, this is today's content that we are going to cover up in our next few hours of the training. So, this is about SAP BW4 HANA and CDS views. So we are going to take up what are these CDS views and why is it necessity from reporting perspective, why it has come into picture because of its high performance analytic appliance and the data models we use here basically. So let me go to next slide about CDS views. So this is CDS.
Show it in a presentation view, no?
Presentation view.
In the right side corner. Down, down. You'll see the presentation view. Yes, yes, that one, the first one.
This one, right?
No, not this one. Not this one.
Okay, this
Next
one.
to this.
Last
No.
slide symbol.
Last
Last
one.
one.
No, next one. Okay, yeah, that's
This
fine.
was the last. Okay, na?
No, this is that. No, this is not the last one. I think it is not
Okay,
coming to
let
this
me
now.
see.
At the last, you see this desktop symbol, right?
Yes, desktop
Yeah,
Yes,
symbol.
just
this
click
one.
on
Yeah.
this. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
This is okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so shall I start then? This is introduction to CDS and VDM.
Yeah.
So we'll start with CDS views. CDS views are with virtual data model of SAP HANA. They allow direct access to underlying tables of the HANA database. So, basically this why this has come into picture is the core functionality or the core logic is that we can perform the maximum operations at the database level. So, which is known as code to data or code push down. So, this is basically, if you see, this gives us that maximum what we call a fast and real-time performance of due to this feature. So if you see here, this CDS, we have a strategic modeling approach and evolution of CDS. We have the SAP introduces CDS, two types are there. We have SAP ABAP CDS views and SAP HANA CDS views. So let's start with ABAP CDS views. These views are created and maintained in SQL-based data definition language. So these are the files on the ABAP application server. So they are like ABAP dictionary views only. Apart from that, we have additional features of ABAP like that transport management, lifecycle management, authorization, and semantically, we can semantically enrich the data model using annotations. So along with we have extensibility feature, we can extend some SAP standard views and use it based on our custom requirement. Other than that, we have all the analytical operations that possible, like the aggregations and SQL functions, and association is one of the feature. So ABAP CDS views are there, and then we have HANA CDS views. So if you see, like this is the HANA CDS views that it created on top of HANA extended application services. So there is a basic difference that I have already shown in the screenshot. Like HANA CDS views is reside on the HANA access, and whereas ABAP CDS views resides on the application server. So database, they work on any database, ABAP CDS views. And HANA CDS views works only on the HANA database. So SQL, they use Open SQL in ABAP CDS views, And in HANA CDS views, we have native SQL. So basically, we use HANA CDS views for native HANA applications, and these are for ABAP applications, ABAP CDS views. So we can go to next slide. So like CDS in ABAP, so basically they have all this code push down, which I told already. Along with that, we have this view functionalities, union all, and association. So let me tell you, association is nothing but the left outer join that we can reuse in all our CDS views. So different layers are there. So in all the layers, we can reuse that left outer join. So that's what is called association in CDS views. So these we have, yes, CDS is fully integrated in the ABAP infrastructure using OpenSQL. So if you go to the next slide, I can show you this one. Okay, so here if you see, you have the database, and then on top of that we have the CDS view. Then we have the application programming. So here we are using ABAP on top, and we have UI. UI can be any BI reporting tool or Fiori. You have this CDS can include this data definition language and query language, along with data manipulation language and data control language. So the key addition here is that data control language, which you know the restrictions that we can do based on the roles. We can view certain like we can have access based on our roles, right? But here we, along with that, we can control that access on the field level as well. So if some of the user can see only some of that particular company code, we can restrict based on field level as well. So that is what we are controlling using data control language, DCL views.
So basically how we handle the security in BW, similarly in CDS, there are DCL, data control languages. And normally what code we write, that we write in DDL, data definition language.
Yeah. So this is same what we do in our SQL also. It goes same here. DDL we have. So we have query language. DCL is what just is we explained now. So if you see data definition language here, here we have that along with that, we have certain enhancements included here. So in this, we can include annotations to enrich the data models. So basically, if you want to semantically enrich it with certain metadata, so you can explain more with the semantic annotations. So associations we can use as a reusable left outer join. Expressions we have this for where in where clause also we can use the expressions and uh, mm, okay, so query language we all know we use here OpenSQL as a query language. So whatever CDS we create here, that is exposed as using OpenSQL. So it is same almost the features. DCL that uh, uh,
Hello, can you just throw more light on annotations?
yes.
Can you just explain more about annotations?
Yes, sure. So annotations are basically we are writing on top of we have different types of annotations that are ABAP and OData, and that we will come in the next slide into the detail of annotations. But basically they are creating some extra information if we want to enrich that definition, ABAP dictionary definitions with certain semantics. we use these notations. So like we can tell if this currency, we can tell like for example, if we can define an amount and include it currency along with the annotation. So similarly, we can tell this is the quantity and this is the unit along with the annotations. So
So
we
in short, SAP has given some standard functions, you can say, or the data type or definitions SAP has given, which you can use and just define your object. You don't have to really go into the database level and understand how it is defined. So SAP has provided some standard functions. So in short, annotations are like that.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so DCL we have covered up, and this is a small, if you can see this architecture, we have database table, SAP HANA. On top of that, we have CDS views. So CDS views, we can expose both analytics and transactional applications using this. We create an OData service on top of CDS views to be consumed on certain reporting, UI reportings. So not everywhere we need this OData service as a service to consume the CDS views, but certain applications like we have query browser and KPIs. So for all these type of application, we have to extend our CDS view. We have to provide OData service on top of the CDS view, and then we add it to the SAP gateway so that our UI reporting tool can access our CDS views. So any questions till now?
We're fine.
So this is that Eclipse that we need to install. So as you can see here, I have saved a Word document also. I'll open that 1 minute. So here we have to install that Eclipse modeling tool using Eclipse IDE for committers to work on these CDS views. And then we have to install a new software using that HANA plugin. We have to install ADT tool. So ADT tool is an ABAP development tool. Using this, basically, we will do the platform independent, all the developments here. So let me just go to this one. Yeah, so I have kept a screenshot from my Eclipse. You have Eclipse installed in your system, right? So you can go here and check that in that help you have install new software. So you have to go there, click
Can you
on
zoom it,
install.
Anika? Can you zoom it bit?
Sorry,
Can you please zoom it bit? I cannot see anything.
zoom it bit. Okay.
So all of you
Yeah.
have installed Eclipse, right?
Yeah,
And how many of you have added the HANA database?
added.
And how many of you added the ABAP perspective?
Yeah, I mean, in beginning itself, there is when we added BW modeling perspective, web app was by default. We added that also.
Correct. So I have shown you in the first training, right, that you have to access the HANA perspective, ABAP perspective, and BW modeling. These are the three features. So CDS views you will define in the ABAP perspective.
Correct.
Okay. So Anika, I think this part they have already done.
Okay.
Install new
Okay.
software and
Okay. So
accessing ABAP.
this
Yeah.
Yeah.
fine. So okay. So this then this all we can install, right? This is done, right, Sonal?
Yes,
So
this
we
is done.
will go to connect system and all. I have kept like that if you want to know. Then there is a this one. Let's go to this after this slide. I go here. Okay. So this you have already covered up. So basically this is tightly integrated with Eclipse where we are doing that ABAP development for CDS views. So you already have done this one, right? So, okay, so this has a feature of that like code completion and auto insertion, like another IDE. So it is a powerful tool. We go here, then comes the introduction to annotations. So this is what I told you. Basically, CDS annotation, that is nothing but a rule that SAP has defined, which are getting evaluated during runtime by the specific frameworks in analytics. So how they interpret that analytics query at runtime and all, that is we can define through these annotations. We have these 4 annotations used in the CDS views. We have ABAP annotations, then analytics annotations, semantic annotation, and object model annotation. So one by one, we can go to the slides. Okay, so let's start with ABAP annotation. So this is, we have this annotation evaluated when the object is defined in the DDL source code. So at the time of activation itself or during ABAP runtime environment, we can use these ABAP annotations. So this, if you see this one, ABAP catalog.sql view name, we have to define like this. This is one of the annotation. This annotation defines the database view in the ABAP dictionary. So this is getting generated as soon as we activate the code. There is another annotation like ABAP catalog.sql view append name. So I showed you that extensibility feature, right? Wherever there is a SAP standard CDS views, we can extend those CDS views based on our custom requirement. So for doing that, we just have to put an annotation that is ABAP catalog.sql view append name. So that will extend our CDS. Then we have this client handling annotation. This is OpenSQL is used to access a CDS entity. So that can be client dependent or client independent. So for client independent, like if we give client dependent false, then the CDS view can be accessed cross client view. So it becomes like a cross client view. There is no automatic client handling is performed there. We have end user text annotations in this. And we have any other annotation that I need to highlight? No, rest we don't use that much. So these are the important ABAP annotations.
So these are like by
Okay.
default, we need to keep these annotations.
You
I
have
mean,
to give it like this, yes. No, by default, when
no,
you
means
create, yeah.
what are the
Oh,
mandatory ones? I mean, which is required? So client
and
dependent.
mandatory one will be that ABAP catalog.sql view name. When you create that DDL view, that time itself you will get this annotation. Okay, so mandatory one you will get there itself.
Okay.
These if you want some specific feature, then you will add these annotation. Otherwise, mandatory wise it will be this ABAP catalog.sql view name you have to give, and end user text label you can give. That will give your in that UI reporting how the text will be shown, so that you can use. Rest, if you are working with DCL, then you have to give this data control language that we talked about, right? If you want to restrict based on field, then you have to give this annotation at access control dot authorization check. So this you have to make true. Other than that, you have this, see these values I have written. Few of them I have covered up. You can see like
Do
annotation
not have.
access.
So yeah, basically, if you do not want to use any kind of security, then you can mention it as a not required. But if you are using it, you have to
Has
provide
check.
the check and value.
Hmm. Okay, so then we have this analytics annotation. So basically this annotation helps that analytic manager to understand how they are going to interpret it, like multi-dimensional data consumption, or they need to do some data aggregation or slicing and dicing on that. So for that, we will be giving this analytics dot data category. So this analytics.data category annotation has dimension, which represent that master data you all will be knowing, right? Then we have fact. fact will be the transactional data type. So if you want to declare the view based on these categories, so you will define it with that analytics.data category. So this will help your analytic manager to understand and behave in that way. So you have this cube. So cube, you also know about cube, right? That it will allow you to do all that aggregation, and you can do here in this queue.
So this is more relevant for the BW people. So ABAP CDS views, basically ABAPers also are using CDS view, right? And for the BW guys, this is the thing which is adding up to your embedded analytics. So why we call embedded analytics? CDS views are there in ABAP as well, right? The ABAPers all are also using the CDS views nowadays if they are working in S4HANA. So when we say embedded analytics, so this is one part which is additional on top of what ABAPers are doing. What ABAPers are doing is little bit different than what we are doing in the embedded analytics, and this is the main part. So when we define any CDS view as an OData service, it can be accessed through your Fiori UI applications, right? But if you have to use a bex query and you want to expose it to SAC, say, or any other reporting tool and which supports bex, say, so in that case you have to use these annotations.
And for SEC and all that is we understood. To use it in BW, do we need I mean BW for HANA we need annotation, this annotation, right? For this extraction one.
That we will cover later, but
Okay.
for extraction we don't necessarily need this annotation, but there are other annotation which we need to define.
Okay.
Sono, just you said that in BW, after creating a BEX query, that if any other system wants to use that BEX query, we have to use these annotations. So in that case, after creating BEX query, do we have to create CDS view for that BEX query?
No. So once you define this analytical annotation, then a BEX query will be created automatically with a 2C. So it will start with 2C. When you define these annotations, after that go to RSRT and check that query starting with 2C. You will get that CDS. So CDS automatically will create this BEX query.
Okay,
But
so that
for
means,
some reason you wanted to use the BEX query functionality, BW query functionality. If you want to use, you want to define the CDS view and you want to define the restriction and calculated key figures, and it's very complicated kind of BEX query, then what you can do, you can define a cube type view, CDS view, and on top of that also you can create a BW query.
okay.
And define all the complication in your BW query, because CDS again has its limitation.
Okay.
Yes, Anika, continue.
Okay, so this is another one, semantic annotations. So like I have explained here, you can see semantics.text true. This is one annotation you need to define for denoting it as text field. We have semantics.currency code true, that will mark the field as a currency code, and semantics.url, so that will mark that field as a URL. So basically these are all that semantics you can define on top of your field. It will just add that extra metadata to your field. So that will be an extension to your data type. Any questions till now? Then we have one more, object model representative. This is object model, right? So object model annotation basically is used to define the structural and transactional related aspect of the data model. So when we tell that, what do we mean? So here we have, like, we can define default aggregation values. So we can define that foreign key association. Suppose you are creating a view, and on that field you want to join that master data attributes of that field. You want to show that F4 value help, right? You want to show what is that text and key features along with other attributes that are related to that field. So for that, we have to show object model dot foreign key dot association. Along with the field, we want to join with our dimension table with that master data table. Then we have this VDM dot view type. So view type can be, I will tell you in that next slide. It can be basic interface view or consumption view. So that we will cover up in that next slide. Then we have this OData.publish. We already, I told you, right, we need to, for certain UI reporting, we need to expose this OData. We need to activate this OData. So first we will publish this OData.publish. We'll mark this value true. So once the OData service is created, we will need to activate it in our SAP gateway. So that is our next step that I have documented. I will show you in that hands-on. Any questions till now?
Okay. Anika, like it is like every time you define an annotation, it's like a like how we define an integer or something. You define an annotation and have a value at the end of it, right?
Actually, your voice is not clear, so I'm not able to listen. Can you repeat again?
Well,
Prashant, still it is not clear.
Annotation definition, right? Like when you say value, it is where you are trying to attribute that definition, right?
Attribute the definition. What do you mean by that?
Okay, let's say like if you are saying like odata.publish and a value,
Yes.
in that you are trying to give entire CDS view name.
No, this is for that OData service. When you create a CDS view on top of your database table, right, S4 HANA, you're creating on that CDS view. So you need to expose this CDS view to your front end, right? So
Yes, yes.
what you will
So
do first, you will create it as a BEX query. Suppose the moment you mark it as a web.query true, it will just act like your BEX query. So then you can access it in your, like if you want to access in certain Fiori, for example, I'm telling you one Fiori query browser. So that is an inbuilt reporting tool that you have pre-installed in that Fiori. So if you want to use that, you have to mark this OData.publish true so that
okay,
the OData service gets created on top of the CDS view.
okay. So wherever you are saying value, it is true or false.
Yes, that auto
Right.
insertion you can see in your Eclipse also in that
Okay.
when you install now you can see. Yes.
Okay. And when you're saying like name key field or like if you go to the previous ones where semantic, right?
Mm.
So here, semantics dot text and value true or false. If I give true,
Mm. Mm.
meanings like to which all fields that semantic, would be
Okay.
applicable. How do I
O-
know?
Okay, okay. So suppose you have one airline ID, okay? You have a key for airline. So what you will in that, if you want to see that text and key for the F4 value help, okay? So that time, if you have this view with semantics dot text true on top of your airline name, then you can add it using that object model dot text dot association. So the moment you use that annotation in your CDS view, this text will go and join with your key. So you can see your key and text beside. Okay.
Okay. If I have, let's say like 5 fields like that, how do I define? Is it like I define one after the other, or I have to write this semantics.txt for each?
Each,
Uh,
if you
For
want to
each you have to
mark,
write.
yeah, for each you will have to do.
So basically how we define the data type in BW or in ABAP, similarly we have to define here how system will know whether it's a currency or it's a text or it's a URL. So that like that you have to define it for each field.
okay. Okay. So it's like data definition, basic
Yes.
data definition you do.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And if I have to do bunch of them, is it like something like start of and end of, something like that?
No.
No. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. So moving to this virtual data model. So here, like S/4HANA Analytics, you know, that supports that OLAP reporting, not only that generic operational OLAP reporting, but also built-in analytics. So the moment, like I said, we define abap.query true, it will work as this CDS view will work as a BEX query. So it has that inbuilt business warehouse functionality. This is what we call SAP embedded BI. So here, if you see, this is the layered architecture. We can create different views on top of this database layer. So if you go to next slide, let me show you this. Yes. So on this, if you see, we have first database table. Then we have this important interface view. So this we will create on top of database table. We have this basic view and composite view here. So what each view will do, uh, let's start with this, suppose first basic view. So basic view is nothing, but it is a view which interacts directly with the database for fetching data. So the general practice is that we will not modify anything. We will simply create a basic view on top of this database for fetching all the fields from the database. Then we have this composite view. So on top of this basic view, we will create another layer. That layer will be your composite view. So what we will do here, we will try to write some logic along with this basic view. So we will do some associations, joins, and you can write certain logic here. You can do certain calculative, you can do some calculative dimensions here. So all this we will do it in our composite view. On top of this, we will have this consumption view. What is this consumption view? This will provide you the factual and cube data. So if you want to access this one, we will create a consumption view on top of that. So this consumption view, we can expose this to different analytic tool. So it can be BI reporting tool or Fiori reporting tool. We can use this consumption view in our UI reporting. So if you see here, we have to mark this analytics annotations are there. I will show you to make it exposed to our UI reporting. We have this interface views. We can create DCLs also. And anything more to be
So how we
said?
have different layers in BW, like the data acquisition layer or transformation layer or reporting layer. Similarly, in CDS, we have these three kind of views. Again, it's depend on your requirement, how many composite views you want to create or how many basic views you want to create. But ultimately, for a initial acquisition layer, it will be kind of a basic view. In composite view, you can define all the transformation, all the mapping or calculation you wanted to. And finally, consumption view will be kind of your reporting layer on top of which you can create your reports.
Yes.
So Sonal, all these views would be created on S4 HANA database side or in
Yes, S/4HANA database side.
Yes,
And whether
correct.
you want to consume it in BW or you want to consume it in Fiori or you want to consume it in SAC, whatever, it depends on your architecture. Because all these tables will be available in S4, right? So you can create CDS view in BW also, but what you will do, I mean, you will not have all those tables, the database, all the S4 tables you will not have, right?
yeah.
Okay, right? So it is like basically you will have that ABAP application server, right? So if you write this code here, we don't have to bring the data to execute in the code. Basically, this code is pushed down to the data level, and that is what makes that calculation faster. So that is the key feature used for this CDS.
So the create view and all that I would be doing on this HANA, sorry, ABAP perspective.
ABAP perspective, you have that ADT tool. After that, you will start creating that. And then it
Okay.
will be pushed to your database layer and it will
And
execute there. Yeah. And then you will get it faster. Your all the calculations will be done on a fly and you can just consume the consumption view in any of your reporting. So it's same like Sonal told already, like BW. So same thing. So this is already covered up. You can see we can have analytical query based on a queue view, or we can create analytical query directly on the master data view. So if you see here, both the way we can do, I have shown in this flow, if you see, we can directly create a analytical query. If you have certain requirement just to show the dimensions and certain master data fields, so that you can directly create analytical query on top of your master data view. And if you have certain calculations, aggregations needs to be done, then you have to create queue view and then you have to consume it in your analytical query. So any questions till now?
so you'd give some demo, right? How to create that and all.
Yes. I think where shall I start? Okay, so Sonal, you will start this one, then I will give, or how it will be?
You complete that, Anika, then I'll start.
Okay, so I will complete this CDS part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you. I have created one simple query in your training server. So if you open this one,
So see, Anika is using this ABAP perspective. You can see in the right top, right? This is ABAP perspective. In that you will have the local objects. In that you can use your user, and inside that core data services and DDL, data definition.
okay, let it open. It is taking time. VPN is connected, right? Okay. I have created it in my local. So, okay, let it open. Then only I can show other. Then I can exit this one. So you all know RSRT, right?
Yes.
I'm having some connection. No. Okay, fine. So when you try to execute this consumption view, let it open. Yeah, okay. So this is that all the annotations that I've told you, the mandatory one. So this will create a SQL view type of thing. If you append 2C on this, you can execute this in your RSRT. So if you put 2C and your query name, you can
So
execute.
how it is coming in RSRT, guys? I told you some time back how it will come
Yeah.
in RSRT.
So when you create, yeah, it comes by default. It gets generated by default, right? When you create
Yeah,
this
because Arnika has defined annotation analytical
query.
query true,
Analytical query.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile it opens, like I showed you, right, that if you do the association, you will be able to see the attributes related to this field. Okay, so that I will show you in code. You need to click here, and if you see there are properties. So whatever attributes are related to this field, you can select here and do a apply. So once you see here, along with key, text, and all the master data attributes, you will be able to see in your query. So here, if you see this one, this is a simple view where we have calculated that occupied seat and maximum seat and cost of the airline. You go to, let me start with that basic view. So
So if you double click or control and click on any of the CDS view, and then you can drill down to the base level. So what Anika has done, she has uh, first defined this basic view on top of a S flight table, and she has joined this associated with another view. So if you double click on this Z00 underscore I underscore flight connection or control click on it, it will take you to that another basic view, which she has defined on this SPF LI table.
yes, yes. And there I have defined this dimension view has a representative key. So this you need to define to join with your field. Okay, so this is that another annotation you need to use if you want to do an F4 value help or bring the attributes corresponding to that field. So this is simple basic views on top of SPFLI with all the detail. I have kept only few of them. So this we have defined as unit of measure and distance. That aggregation we are putting as sum. If you go here, we are accessing here from S flight. Along with that, we are associating this view. So association is just acting like a left outer join. This association we can reuse. So if you send here this airline view, then what is this airline view? This view, all the features, all the fields of this view will be carried in the association. So whenever you want, you can do underscore airline and then you can pull that field in your top layer. So like if
So
I'm
all this
telling.
field, whatever ultimately Anika has defined all this field, but we have to provide alias also for these fields. For example, from S flight, she is picking up price, but in CDS view, we will call it flight price. Okay, so it's either you can say a description or alias that we create. So ultimately we define all this, and where you wanted to define it is a type like currency code she has defined for S flight currency field, and then some values you wanted to see the aggregated value. So say sum. So default aggregation equal to sum, like that we have to define for every field.
Correct. So this one also, like Sonal was telling, we will have this association and we can pull any of the record from our previous view. So we can reuse that view here if you do association. So if you go here, it is a cube view. So in that cube view, we are just defining this maximum number of seats and all. And we are doing this number of occupied seats. And just a simple view I have created where we are showing this minimum of the flight price and some of the seats available.
So where you are defining cube view?
This is
Where
the
you are saying,
cube view.
no, I mean you are defining anywhere
Line number 5.
Yes, I am defining it
okay,
here.
okay,
Can you
okay,
see?
okay. Data category, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
So,
exactly how you do the cube in BW side, where you have the fact table, you're
Yeah.
associating your master data dimension tables with the fact table. Similar way, you can do it in the CDS views also.
Correct. And this is the annotation you need to give. This is analytics.query true. So you can access it in RSRT with 2C and the SQL view name. Then you have this odata.publish true. So we have exposed this view as OData service. If you see here, when we run here, so this is that, okay, this is that query which you can execute and see the cost, maximum seat available, occupied seat and available seat. I have something. Okay, so this screenshot I have kept from, you know about, okay, I think it will be next slide. Let me go there better. So I will skip this slide as of now. Let me first go to Fiori Launchpad. Okay, so I will start with this one first. So this is that T code to activate the OData service. What you will do, type /n/iwfnd main service. So the moment you type that, you will get this. In that screen, you will have to add the selected service. So what you have to add is, if you do this one as true, since it published, it will show you OData service. Otherwise, you will get a OData service with the same name as the view name, and appended with _CDS. So it will come something like this. This is your OData service that gets generated. So you have to copy this OData service and go to that transaction. Okay, so since already I have created, so I can find my service in this. So this is my service that is already created, but first time it will not be available. So you have to click on this add service. Okay. So you have to click on add service and give this technical service name here, and then get the services and add it. So once you add it like this, you have to click on enter, then this OData service will be generated. So after that, your view will be this. Yes, so you can see this OData.publish, and you can click on this OData service for the generated OData service. So we have one more. What is that? Okay, Fiori app library, right? So let me open this Fiori app library. If you click on that link, I am filtering it.
So if you create CDS view, in how many ways you can consume it? Anyone? Just
Consume in
this is.
another CDS view, consume it as part of RSRT
Hmm.
or a Bex query,
Hmm.
consume it as part of a Fiori or other third-party application.
Correct. Correct. Okay, so once you wanted to consume it, so you have to expose it through OData, right? Then only Fiori will be able to access it. So what it does, it generates some XML code, and it created a services. And that service, you can access it through the Fiori tools, which are like usually the Web IDE or BAS tool. And then Fiori guys can create an app on top of it.
Okay, right? Okay, so shall I start then this Fiori app library?
Yes, okay.
So this is that basically, like the name suggests, this is a library for all the Fiori applications is stored here. So if you want to view any of the standard Fiori application, you can go and search it over here. So all of the delivered Fiori applications is stored here. Based on different, like you can search it based on that technology name. You can search it based on that SAP Business Suite name. You can search it based on the app name. So let me show you one of that. So if I want to search one application, incoming sales order, excuse me, incoming sales order. So I can either select this from here, and check the detail of the app in this Fiori app library. So what will I do? I will scroll, and here you can select your S4 HANA version also. So I want to see as of now on 16.10 suppose. So I can select this version of S4 HANA and then check all the details that we have, like this is what type of application. It is a WebDyn Pro application. Database it is using HANA-DB. This is the app ID, and this you can see a glimpse of the report, how it looks, right? So next
So
app.
whenever you,
Mhm.
yeah, so whenever you join any project, in the initial stage, you will not know that which um, app will be applicable. So based on your discussion, based on your business requirement, when you sit with the functional guys, then they will identify some apps. So you can simply Google the Fiori app library, go there, search for the relevant app. For example, you know that it's an incoming sales order kind of reports they are looking for. Then you can go to this app library, you can see what all details it is providing, or you can check into the system, you can activate this app and then show this app to your customer, and they will say no, this is applicable or not applicable, or they need any kind of extension in this app, or they want altogether a new custom app. So depending on all that, you can choose your Fiori app.
Correct. So yes, when they say that what is that app, they will tell you the name. You can search here uh, for certain. If the development is not from scratch, then they will tell you that you want some. They want some enhancement on top of some Fiori app. So in that case, first you need to find out what is that standard one. So here you will get all the, you can Google out in your Fiori app library. You can see all the apps. It's maintained here. And you can check all the software requirement and all this, but these are not that much relevant for you all. So you can go to this configuration. Here you can see your, see this one is all that I can cover up. So let me tell you. Uh, Okay, so see, query browser, directly we can access this Bex query, right? So if you give this Bex query, you can directly access it in your query browser and view your reporting CDS there. But certain this, when you create report, they want to see in different reporting tool. So for example, if they want to see in multi-dimensional report, then what you have to do is create a tile on top of your CDS view. So directly you will not go and see this query in your query browser, because that is inbuilt feature which we use sometime. But if they demand, they want to create this as a multi-dimensional report, then you have to go and create a tile on top of your this CDS view. Okay. So that tile, when you create, you have to add that tile to your catalog. So catalog is like a storage for all the tiles. So they want it under analytics catalog, or whatever catalog they will mention. So custom catalog, you can add it there. And this catalog can be added to a group or role. Okay. So that role will be assigned to the user. Once suppose I have this sales analytics group assigned under my name. So I can go to Fiori under this group. In the header section, I can see this name. And when I click on this, I will be able to view my this multidimensional as a report when I create this tile. Okay. So this is that next slide you can come up with, but next first we will see this one. If you get this detail, like you can see Bex query with 2C and the SQL view name. So you can copy this one and you can search it in your Eclipse. So what is that CDS view behind this Fiori? So if you open this one, this is the backend part. You need to identify what is the backend related to this Fiori application. So you can search from the Bex query. You can come here in your Eclipse and you can do Control Shift A. Okay, so here you will be able to search your this view. after that, this is the DDL source. So you can click on this, double click or do control click. You will be able to see this CDS view that is created for this report. So that report is based on this CDS view. Now, if you need to do some enhancement or something, you need to make a copy of this one, or you need to extend that this CDS view. That is depending on the requirement.
So guys, did you understand, like we have the business content in BW, there are standard apps. What we mean by apps which are like a tile in Fiori. You all have seen the Fiori screen, right? The BW cockpit, it looks similar to that. Have you all seen Fiori screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, right? Fiori
Yes.
screen.
So this is the Fiori screen. So all these things, what it is called, this is called tiles or app. So all this app will have something in background, right? So either it will be a report, or it will be an analytical query, or it will be an transactional query, or it will be webbed in pro app or something like that. So all this will have different types. So when we are talking about BW, these are analytical query in the background, right? And all these are clubbed into a group. So like you can see reporting, current setting, this periodic activity for us, these are kind of different groups. And in that different group, in reporting, see, you can see import foreign exchange rate, I mean current settings are this. Go to reporting, Anika.
Reporting, okay.
So in reporting, you will see all this. So it can be a transactional report or an analytical report, right? So from the Fiori app library, you will get the name of your BEX query or your tile. So either you can go to a tile and get the BEX query name, or from Fiori app library, you can take the BEX query name and then you can drill down it to your base view and then base table, that on top of what it is created. So if you want to enhance it, if you want to extend it, you can extend the existing one, which is again not, we should not directly change anything directly, but sometimes, you know, we can just use the extension part. So with that, you can enhance your extractor, you can say. And then if you want to create it altogether anew, you can create a CDS view on top of it as per your requirement. So in Fiori also, there are different type. So when you define a query, when you define your analytical queries and CDS, how you will consume it in Fiori through OData services, right? On top of OData services, there are different types, how you want to consume it, whether you want to consume it through query browser, through view browser, or what kind of report you wanted to generate in Fiori. Like you wanted to generate a multi-dimensional report or a list report or an ALP report. Are you getting my point, or it is too confusing? Anyone?
So Sonal, if I see this, this is like a business content wherein which the end-to-end Fiori. When I say like Fiori app, it is something like a BW query. If you look for BW 7.x flow, it was like more of like a query, and then the backend CDS view is like the cubes and the multi-providers. So that's how. And is there any activation that needs to be done to get this Fiori app? And when you say Fiori app and Fiori tile, are they synonymous?
Yes.
Okay, so we do some kind of activation of these Fiori apps or Fiori tiles in the system so that uh, they can be utilized, or it's like
It is
they are
more
available.
not exactly activation. It's more like you should have a role to access those apps. So initially, if you log into Fiori, you will get a blank screen until unless the security team has provided you authorization to look at, to view those apps. Even if it's a standard, you need to get the authorization for those apps. How you will know that which authorization or which role you want? So again, you can go to Fiori app library. There you can get the role that I want this app and this is the role which is used. If you tell it to security guys, they will add it to your profile. And then you can see the Fiori app.
Yes, and customization part, do they need to know? Like we use this FLPD underscore cust to do all this thing, right? Sonal, so do they need to know this part?
Which one, Anika?
This FLPD underscore cust, which is our Launchpad designer, where we do all this mapping after creating the CDS view from scratch, they can do here.
Yes, yes. So I think that will be too much detail, but let's quickly. So guys, are you able to understand what we are saying? Otherwise, like, if you're still not clear, then you can ask the question, because this is too much information. And if you are very new to the Fiori area and CDS area, it will be too much of information, but this will be really useful as an analytical consultant.
Yes, in a nutshell, like it is very easy. You have this backend, right? Then you need to expose this backend in your Fiori application. So Fiori application, you can get the requirement like you already know the Fiori application. You will Google it from your Fiori app library. So like it is shown here, you can search your based on the application name. You will see all the detail here. You can find out the backend part here. You can find out the roles and catalogs here. So what is for this? If you don't have idea, these groups that you are that already Sonal told you, right? When you see this, sorry, where is that screen which you saw just now in the Fiori? So reporting, that is a group, right? So under that group, we are just adding this backend part. So how will this be accessible in your Fiori? That is done here, okay? So that you have to just create a tile on this backend CDS view and map it to a catalog. So that catalog will be mapped to the group. So this is the flow. So backend to tile, then tile to catalog and catalog to group.
Yeah. So, like we have the Bex query designer, and then we can, in the analyzer, we can view the report, right? Everybody knows designer and analyzer. Similarly, in Fiori also, you will have a designer and then, what you say, view, what it is called, Arnika, and one is designer, other view is what? The Fiori.
View, okay, query designer you are telling? Query browser, view browser?
No, no, no. So one is designer. Sorry, I forgot that term. But
KP.
ultimately, you have a designer, and other where you can view that tile. Are you
Modeler
getting
you
the
are
point?
telling, Sonal?
Not modeler. The screen which you opened, open it again.
Huh?
Not this one. The other Fiori screen.
Okay, I'm trying to go there 1 minute, just 1 minute.
So Sonal, basically, see, most of us who are joining this training don't know how to create CDS view. Okay, the basic one, and now directly we are going to Fiori and all that. So that's why it is bit, no, uh,
See,
That's what
CD,
I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you, that this information will be, again, we are trying to cover only overview. We are not going into the detail. And CDS part is one of the important part for then analytical consultant. And plus now we are coming up with this hybrid modeling and all.
yeah.
So CDS and BW, P4 HANA, this all are clubbed together. In a project, you will have a requirement. If you're using a full-fledged BW4 HANA system, there can be objects which you will be creating in BW, there will be object you will be creating in your HANA views, and there will be object which you will be creating in CDS, right? So there you cannot go and say that, no, I cannot create, this is a CDS guy's work, right? Theory part, again, we are covering overview, we are not going into detail, but we are telling you the overview so that you can understand the concept. Do you want us this part to cover or not? Tell me.
So now, is it like in Fury app? No, you continue. It's good actually to know the basics, so we can explore further. So it is good. So I'm just asking. So in Fury app, we have many reports SAP has provided. So if in the project, if there is a requirement like there is a display GL account balances, so this is one of a report SAP has provided. If there is a requirement to enhance this, I mean to add some columns to this report, then we can utilize this BEX report from Fury app and modify according to our requirement. Is it like that?
You can extend your CDS view. If you want to
Yes.
add some field, for example,
Okay.
then you can extend that. You can take it up to your Fury app. Okay. So what I was telling about the launchpad, yeah, I forgot that term, launchpad. So there is Fury launchpad and there is Fury designer. So like how we have the BEX, everybody knows BEX query designer and analyzer, right? Everybody is still using it.
Yep.
Right? So similarly, we have the launchpad and we have the designer. So in designer, usually that is a job of a Fury consultant to, but sometimes in our project, if there is no customization, there is no additional Fury consultant in your team. So in that case, we have to just define our group and tile what Arnika was showing and then use it in the launchpad. So you have to just whatever OData services you have created in your CDS and then call it in your launchpad, and then if you are creating a customized style, okay, but if you are using any standard, in that case just ask your security guys to activate that role and then you can see your app.
Correct.
Okay, and when you go to the again Fury launchpad, multiple kind of reports you can create over there. One is your multidimensional report. Okay, another is your list report, and one is your ALP, analytical list page. Analytical, so all these type are different in a way because some of this report, for example, ALP, it will show chart, filters, and table. That kind of report it generate. So how your customer wanted to view that report, based on that, you will create your Fury app. Okay, this is in very short, in a very simple terms, I am explaining it to you. But if something is not clear, please ask question.
So like this is what Sonal is telling. This is a type of KPI app. So if you see here, this is the KPI. It shows up like this. So that customer will tell you which type of app they want.
So far,
Okay.
is it clear or not clear to anyone?
Maybe you can start with one CDS basic view I have created. So 2-3 CDS view and then expose it and see in your at least Fury query browser. So query browser is ready-made, that you can see, right? Report at least. Till then, if you have the concept, then you can go beyond that, adding the tile and all.
So anyone, can you quickly explain me the overall flow? If you are defining any, just try to relate it with BW. It's not very different from BW. Just tell me the flow.
So the way we have a data model in BW, same we have in CDS. So we have a database tables available in S4HANA itself. So basically we first create basic views, which will just read all the data available in ECC table into that basic views. Then in composite view, we add up calculations for those
Logic.
basic views. Yeah, logic, whatever in composite view. And then after that, we create a consumption view which we can expose to different reporting tools.
Correct.
So in consumption view, we may have OData published kind of annotations. Okay. Okay, now for Fury app, if I created, if I will create one CDS view. If I do OData publish, then that my CDS view will be available into my Fury app. I can use.
And you have to publish also. You have to publish also that app.
Yes, OData.publish. With this, I can have my CDS view publish into Fury app, right? Yeah.
And
Correct.
then in your designer, if it's a custom view in your designer, you have to assign it to a group.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catalog
or a group.
Catalog
Yes.
or a business group. Yes.
Then in a launchpad, then you will be able to see that app.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if I tie this back my CDS view to catalog, then business group, Then after that only my view is available to Fury app. That right?
Correct.
Launchpad, in the launchpad.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, very well explained, Prajakta. Anybody else? Any question on that? Alfen, is it clear to you?
So, like this, where we are searching it, right? It gives everything on the Fiori tiles, right? Or the Fiori apps. Okay. And if I have to have, you know, because at our client they are not exposed, I mean, they're not allowing us to use SE16. Okay, it's restricted. And they've asked if you have a Fiori app or Fiori, you know, tile to view the data, you can go ahead and view it. So is there any, you know, like the basic views, right? The ones which actually read the table and then give the output. Are there anything like that which I can directly use in the tile, Fiori tile, or anything like that? Every
See,
table, or at least the prominent tables in the Fiori apps.
I'm not sure if I'm getting your question, but everything in your tile is associated with a group or a role. Everything, whatever you see in this launchpad, everything will be associated to a group or a catalog and a role. So until and unless you have access to that catalog or group, you will not be able to see that app. So if you do not have SE16 access, again, there should be an app for it, first of all. Any transaction, whatever transaction you are using, say ME23N, that can also have an app for it. But until and unless you have access to that, you cannot see it in Fiori app library.
Okay. Okay.
In Fiori Launchpad.
So you mean to say some of the transactions would be there as a Fiori app?
Yes, it can be there. It depends that what business wanted to use and how they wanted to use it and how functional team are configuring your Fiori app. That is more relevant for, I would say, the functional consultant and ABAPers than to us. We are more into the reporting part, right?
Okay.
As an analytical consultant.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, right.
And Sonal, like when we look for this, you know, if I'm not getting anything on the Fiori tiles, and if is there any way I can similarly do a search for CDS views, available CDS views?
Available CDS view in the sense through app you are saying, or just
Any method where I can search the, you know, if a CDS view is available for something.
Yes. You can do like, okay, you told you don't have AC11 access you will have, or that also you will not have.
S11 I would have, not 16.
Okay, then any one table you can select and you can see this where used list is there. Okay. So if you see this one where used list, you can see where you are this view. Okay. So if you select this view, come here, you see this data definition is there. Okay. So you have to select this data definition. So on top of this table, whatever view is created, it will show here. You have to continue. Then you see these are the data definition. These are the standard views that is created here. iSales
so
document
whatever
basic.
is starting with I, those are the standard composite views.
Yes, and these are custom Z, starting with Z.
Okay, I are the ones. Okay.
So at least you will get the table right on that primary
Yes,
table,
yes.
main table, right? So
We do.
yes, but that concept comes when you need to do something from scratch, okay? Or maybe you want to know what are the standard CDS view available on this table that we can enhance, okay? So in that case, we check here. So we will find out these are the sales document item, and this on top of this, we will always try to reuse the standard one and create our custom one. So we'll not only create this custom, okay? Always try to reuse some standard view So on top of the standard view, we will start enhancing our custom view.
This helps because you know, most of
Reusability factor, right? So whatever SAP has delivered, we need to reuse that also. So that is not a good practice if you start from scratch. So if you start like there is a view already on VBAK table, so you always have to first search which view is very much relevant to your requirement. So that you have to search first. Then you get the view which is the most granular view, like item will have all the sales document item level, suppose item level, this data and all. So you will have to find out that view, and then you can like select from I sales document item. So you will have to start from that, like that.
okay. Yeah, this definitely help because business knows the tables from ECC world, but they don't
Correct.
know the CDS views from
Correct.
the S4 world.
So
Yeah.
usually functional guys, when they will give your functional specs to you, they will say, let's take a very simple example where you have VBAK and VBAP. So
Hmm.
your report is on top of that. So you need to first identify which are the CDS view on top of VBAP and VBAK. So this is one method where with that you can easily find out that this is the standard app which is already available. You can go to this app, sorry, CDS, and then see what all fields are there, all the required fields are there or not. If it's not there, you take that as your base and create an custom CDS on top of it if you want to enhance it. You can extend
Okay.
your CDS app, and on top of that you can create your cube view or composite view or whatever, and then just expose it to OData or Bex
Hmm.
query. This is
So
the typical approach which we use.
so then you are saying like enhance and extend. Are they both same or
Same,
something
same,
different?
same.
Okay.
In CDS
So
terms, we call it extend,
Okay.
extend your app, and in BW terms, we call it enhancement, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Thank
okay. So shall we move to next slide then?
Yeah.
Okay, so is for HANA embedded analytics. We already just came across this one. So this is that enables the user to perform real-time analytics on the live transactional data or operational data. So what the key concept, like we have this enabled embedded analytics in this. So we can do real-time operational reporting because of that. We have that CDS that we use as our VDM, virtual data model, to pick up all the data and write our logic and all, and then execute it through that functionality code push down, and then the execution becomes faster, and we can just see it through RSRT as a Bex query. So embedded BI. So this all is just a nutshell of SAP embedded analytics. This one, okay. So this is just that evolution how we had earlier SAP HANA, then we had SAP Business Warehouse powered by SAP HANA, then we had SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA. In this way, it evolved to SAP S4 HANA. So this we almost, this is like a business thing to know. We had like SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA earlier, which is a product, which was a product on that SAP Business Suite, and it was running on any database. But then later it was like migrated to this SAP HANA database. So because of that, you will not get all the like features here, but it is just like a migration, right? So uh, mm, okay, so then we had this SAP S4 HANA Finance, formerly named as SAP Simple Finance or SFIN. This was also a add-on which was installed on SAP ERP. So earlier we had SAP ERP, then on top of that we had SAP S4 HANA Finance. So that time also we had this, we had certain features coming, but this aggregate and all was a bit challenge. So then we came up with SAP S4 HANA. So that is all things got migrated to SAP as S4 HANA. Like earlier, we had running this SAP Business Suite on SAP ERP, right? Then we migrated it to SAP HANA. But now whole the database changed and it has completely transformed into SAP S4 HANA. So we had along with that came embedded analytics, real-time operational along with transactional analytics can be done. So all these features came into SAP S4 HANA. This is simple like SAP ERP. Earlier we had FICO, finance, FI document and CO document separate. And we used to do aggregates and all, which was a bit challenging. So we had now SAP S4 HANA where we have merged this both into AC Doka. So that is a journal entry table. AC Doka here, if you use CDS view and we can do cube and all aggregations on the fly. So both that analytics can be done parallelly along with on the operational data. This we already came across. So this is nothing but earlier like BI, we had faster decision quality using BI, and using SAP ERP, we had speed of execution. So now we have SAP S4 HANA, which has both. So decision making using analytics and as well as it executes very faster due to code push down structure. Then these are the different Fiori apps. Don't get much confused with this one. I will show you one with query browser. So that is an inbuilt Fiori app which you will get in means everyone will have this query browser ready made with them. So they don't need to create for this style catalog, all that process you don't need to follow. Simply you can execute your backend CDS view in this query browser. So I will show you this one.
So again, query browser is a tile through which you can access your all the analytical queries. Okay, so you should have access to your query browser tile. Once you see the query browser tile, whatever custom view, custom CDS you have defined and you have published in the OData, that query you can access it through Fiori in the query browser. And if you want to add it as a separate tile, that's up to you in which browser. For that, you will need the designer.
Okay, it will take some time.
Yeah, the query browser will take. So is it clear to all?
This is like ready-made. So you all have this query browser. Means you definitely need the role. So you have this and you don't need to develop any tile or something on this. Okay, so you can use this, just search your query browser and then you can search your query. So this will give you all the analytical queries. So if you see, these are the standard ones. The one that I created will just try to show you this one. Okay, so let me just select this and execute here. Oh, sorry, underscore CDS I give. No, that is why. For explaining purpose, I gave here underscore CDS, but actual view was just this one. So you have to just search with your actual view name. You will be able to see this query view query. See this analytical queries, right? So you can search your query view here. This is the consumption and I marked it as analytical.query true. So the moment I marked it is behave as a Bex query. You can search your query here and then you can select this one. Okay, so these are the description, whatever you want to see. These are column name, data element description and column length and all detail you can see. Then you have inbuilt design studio. Okay, so this you can use to see your report. Just open that, open for analysis, click on that.
How is it very good count? Wow. Ah, Kritika, come. Come.
Some
No. Don't get. Ingrid was
Go on mute.
okay, so
There's
so
some noise.
this is, yeah, so this is that column. You see the measures come under column, and this is the row. We have airline, and this is the dimension. So if we define it as the dimension, we define it as row. Since I had only one, so you will not understand. Means if you give like this column query dot axis has column or has rows. So this annotation you will be able to see here. Generally for all the measures we give has columns. So the measures will come under columns, and your rows, whatever dimensions you define under hash rows, that will come in your row. So after that, you can, like if I have some more dimension, but I did not define it under row, so later I can just pull it, drag it and see under my row, okay? So that will help in that, like I told na, slicing, dicing feature is there. So aggregate based on that, you can see.
Come.
Sorry, someone has some query?
No,
This is the
sorry, I was. Go ahead, please. Sorry, I was.
okay, fine. So this is that chart and table inbuilt here. So you can see based on this report, this is the chart and table will come up. So this way you can see your report in query browser. At least you can understand how, what are the this cost available occupied seat. Whatever you design, you can at least execute and see your report here.
So, guys, again, if your customer doesn't want to invest in any kind of fancy reporting tool and all, Fiori is one of the good option where the basic reports you can create in Fiori, and you can just show what are the rows and columns, and so, and doesn't want any kind of major customization in reporting. So you develop your CDS view, expose it to Fiori, create a very simple reports with the simple charts and all. Those you can create over here. So that is called embedded analytics.
So, Sonal, like if you go into that CDS view, okay. So you said like you're defining rows and columns. So whenever you say it is exposed to query, you know, analytics dot it is query, right, or something like that, you have to uh, definitely mention about rows and columns, or is
Yes.
it not a mandatory thing?
No, not, yeah, no. Yeah, Sonal, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so you have to define columns and rows if you want it to automatically see it over here. Otherwise, you have to go there and drag and drop the fields. Right, Anika?
Yes. So it is not mandatory, but by like if you define it, you will give a predefined structure here. So it will be columns for measures and rows. What you want to see, that user will tell you. If they want to see something under row, so you need to define, then in that case hash rows. And whatever you don't define, that will be by default under dimension. So that will be as a free characteristic. So you need to pull that to see under rows. Okay, otherwise that will not be visible in your report. So that
So if you
comes by
don't,
default.
so if you don't define, it will be an empty shell, and you can drag and drop. If you
Not
define, you will
empty
have
cell,
a
it will
predefined.
be like a free cell. Yes, free cell. So
Yeah.
you have to, yeah, pull it under your report to show it. Okay, otherwise it
Yes.
will be by default free cell.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Okay, so I think this is already,
One final
yeah,
question on this, Q1, right?
yes.
Like we came to know about rows and columns. Are there any other variations in this? Like,
Sorry, Variations means?
Can I define other things like, if I'm
You
drawing
want to
panels with,
see that, just do control and space, okay? So whatever available options are there, 1 minute, control and space, okay? So the values will be pre-populated. You can see whatever you can select. So like I said, it will be rows, free and column, okay?
okay.
So
Thank you.
any of this, like this also, if you want value, you can get it like this. So you want to have some check on that, you can just do control and shift and you can see this one. Okay, you can
Okay.
select from that.
Thank you.
Last is view browser, like query browser shows you the query. View browser will show you all the views. So whatever views is created here, you see this screenshot. You can go and open the view browser and CDS views. You need to just search it with the CDS view and you can see your basic composite as well as consumption view in your view browser. I think you don't need more than that. So that's all I think from my side. Yeah, this is Sonal. Okay, Sonal. So if there is no more question, then Sonal.
Yeah. So do you want to take a quick break of 15 minutes and then we will join back at 11:30?
Yes, Sonal.
Yes, Sonal.
Okay. So we'll join at 11:30. Then I'll continue the rest of the part.
Okay, Arnika, if people want to go, but I just have a question, right? You always have this base CDS and consumption and other one, right? How do I identify whether some CDS view randomly, if I find, stumble upon something? Consumption, I know probably there is a annotation for that, but how do I say like which is base or which is something different? Is there a
Yeah,
quick
you
way of
have.
identifying?
Yes, let me share my screen. So this you have to declare yourself. There will be no such impact apart from this consumption and cube. Okay. So other than that, if you declare basic or composite, that is completely your call. But best practice is whenever you define other than like you have a table, you are simply creating a view on that table. You will always define view type as basic. Okay. So you can just go here and do control space and you can see whatever options are available over here. Sorry, selecting there, that is why. Yeah, so like you see, the first step will be first layer that we generally do. On top of table, we will create a basic view. That basic view can be like from a SAP standard view only. Base practice will be that. So if you want to like create some composite view after that, you can write your logic like association and what we call calculative dimensions or measures. You can do it over here, as well as you have cube. So cube basically we use for this foreign key association purpose. Here we will be using all these master data attributes. There is something called F4 value help. I think you all know that. So if you want to see like this feature, so whatever is there over here, you can go to attributes and my airline field has so many master data fields here. So you need to join this with your airline field. So basically for this purpose, we will define the cube view. So
Okay.
the generic notion again, but when you design, it is completely your call. There will be no error. Apart from that aggregation, you have to take care because if you define, right, default aggregation sum or max or mean. So based on your key fields, other than that, if there is duplicacy, then this measure field will get affected. Okay. So that is the only challenge we need to take care is this aggregation part. So you always have to take care of this aggregation. It should be unique based on the requirement. So if they want based, like if they want the measures to be aggregated only on airline field, or if they want it on the second layer to be aggregated, so that based on the requirement, you have to decide and then join, like you can do a group by and then join with your field so that it doesn't get duplicated. So this thing you need to take care. It's like BW only, similar thing.
Thank you, Arnika.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody's back? Hello?
Hi, Sonal. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sonal.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, Sonal.
Okay. So there are few topics which are important, which some are not. So the one which are not so important, I will quickly cover those. So any doubt in this all this part which is explained? Just don't go into detail of everything, but at least understand the whole concept of it. Okay. So who have worked in a support environment, or I'm not sure how many of you have used this in BW, which is statistical cubes. Anybody has used it in their project? Used it? Or people are sleeping?
No, no, Sonal, not much.
Okay, so statistical cubes, I mean, this was like available from so many years. I don't know, maybe before 3.0 version also, or surely from 3.5 version. So there were some standard cubes provided by SAP where you can do your loading analysis, process chain analysis, your query time, execution time. This is the story of the days when we were not having HANA system and all, and system performance were like a big concern for clients, and they were struggling to complete the loads and all. So at this time, this kind of cubes were helping in performance tuning area, where they will get the whole list of what you used to call before even DSO, all the cubes and DSO which we were using in non-HANA system. It was giving all the analysis that which cube is taking what, how much time and all, and then you can dig into further it, that which from which flow it is coming and all, and then you can do the optimization part and all. So this thing was very helpful in your performance tuning for the BW system, NetWeaver BW system. Now we don't have that, it's not required anymore, but still, even if you're using HANA, you can have performance issues, right? If you're not designing it properly, you're not following the standard practices and all, and if your data volume is very large, you will have performance issues, right? So now SAP has given these standard CDS views for different purposes. Okay, so you can use those views, and you can create the queries on top of that. So all the statistics required for reporting runtime, data provisioning processes, aggregates, all that you can use it. So ultimately the base tables will be same. So before also this RSDD stats, these tables were used. So for different purpose, there are different tables which were used. So these VDMs are provided where you can analyze your performance of the system based on different kind of parameters. And the most important part for this is that you don't, these are the virtual data views, right? So you don't have to really load the data. So housekeeping of the source table to increase large period, so no data persistency is also required for it. So this is the list. Again, whether your project wanted to implement it or not, that's up to them. You can suggest in case you see that there is a probable case where there can be some statistics would be required. Again, it's a good practice to keep this kind of flows. So there will not be a client requirement specifically for you for it, but you can suggest it to the client until and unless at the client side you have somebody who knows BW very well or who is a BW architect, they might ask for it. Otherwise, you from your side, you can suggest it. So this is the tables which are used for the query runtime. These are the tables which are used for the process change statistics, data loading statistics. We can use these tables. And on top of it, we can identify which are CDS views are available and you can use it. So this is the list of all the CDS views which can be helpful. And at the same time, you can also, if you want to persist, even though the persistence is not required, but if you wanted to persist it, then you can also do that using this CDS based extractors, and you can create a snapshot also. Again, very few projects where I have seen the statistical cubes were really used even before, but there can be very big client where uh, this kind of cube, this kind of statistics helps them. All right. Next is your ODP extraction. So we learned about the CDS views. Okay, there are different CDS views. On top of it, you can create your Bex query, or you can create your Fiori app or anything. Another consumption of it is like in BW also you can extract it. So for example, we were having something called standard extractors before, or now also we have, right? So why we use standard contain or standard extractor? Anyone?
Yeah, it has built-in business functionality and all that, so you don't have to
Correct.
do it from scratch.
Correct. So similarly, if I wanted to use a standard CDS view, so that will help me. It will be again a standard contain rather than using any direct table. If I'm getting a standard view which is doing all the required calculation or all the required joins, I can use it, right? And it will be on top of the HANA database, so it will be faster also. So that will be very helpful for me. So I can create an extractor on top of my CDS views also. Okay. So anyone who can think that in which cases we should go for standard contain. I mean, if your client asks basically whether I should use standard contain or I should use CDS based extractor or I should use HANA view. So what would you suggest as a PW consultant? Polo, somebody polo. It's a very basic question I'm asking, huh?
Yeah, so with CDS based, I mean, all the calculations are going to the database, right? So performance would be better in this case.
In HANA views also it will be like that, right?
ECC
Think
tables are
about
at
it.
S4 HANA side, so
Hmm.
CDS can be
Hmm.
better.
Hmm.
So see, first of all, we have to bring data from ECC to BW first, and then only we can create HANA views on a BW4 on HANA system.
Hmm.
But at ECC side, all the data is available,
Hmm.
so we can generate CDS views.
So as a good practice, what we used to do in BW before?
Practice.
We used to have whatever possible enhancements in the ACC side, whatever enhancements are required. If any kind of transformations were required, we used to do it in the transformation layer in BW, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so basically, if you are having only CDS are possible only with S4 system, right?
Yes.
Can you have the legacy with the CDS extractor? No, you for that you have to use BW. So you have to join that in BW side. if you are having, say, different SAP and non-SAP systems, CDS will definitely will have an advantage because it is directly running on the database. So from performance perspective, CDS extractors will be very good. But in some cases where we have more standard extractors like inventory, if you do that in CDS, I mean, you have to put lot of development efforts to implement same, because the kind of inventory extractor which SAP has created, nobody could replicate it. You go to any database, nobody can replicate inventory database, inventory extractors. Right? If you try to do that in HANA, it's not that it's not possible, it is possible, but you have to put lot of development efforts to implement it. So in such cases where we have really good standard extractors, where we will use BW standard extractors, and CDS, which are like again CDS standard views are available, then of course it will be easy to access it. It will run on the database with a minimum customization. If it's possible, we can use that as well.
Okay, so based on what fields we required in the report,
Hmm.
based on that we have to take decision, right?
Right. So now that's why we are explaining all this thing in as a part of training, and this is why this course is made like this by SAP. We are following SAP lines only. Why we are doing so that as a consultant you should know all these things. If client asks you, you should be able to answer it. Just think from that direction. Just don't go by that, okay, I created one ADSO, I have created one ADSO of type this or composite provider, that's enough, that my job is done. It's not like that. As a consultant, you need to understand what are the drawbacks of each thing, what are the advantage of each thing, and until unless you do hands-on, guys, it's very, very important you do the hands-on on the system. Otherwise, whatever I'm saying, you will forget it. Okay, so in that cases, CDS, and there are some cases where we have to use hybrid modeling. So I think hybrid modeling was also one of the topic, right, in your training.
Yeah.
Anybody remember hybrid
Yes,
modeling?
Yes.
So there we can use HANA views. So you know that on top of ADSOs also you can create HANA views, right? So in some cases you have to use hybrid modeling also. So client can ask this question to you. What should you suggest? So you should be very clear on this concept. Just don't go by, okay, this is done on database, so it's okay, we'll say CDS, or this is new to SAP, so CDS must be good. No, try, check this in the system. Try to check some material on it, which one is better. In which scenario CDS will be better, in which scenario BW will be better, BW extractors will be better. So if you get any other point, just let me know. Okay, so there are different ways in which I can consume the CDS view again. Okay, I can consume, there are these three scenarios where I can have an open ODS view in BW, and with that I can extract my CDS view which is created. Again, it can be standard or custom or based on your requirement, whatever you wanted to create, assuming it is a standard one. So through SDN, I can access my CDS view through Open ODS view. Okay, so Open ODS view is already covered in your training. Who remember what is Open ODS view? Nobody remembers. Anyone wanted to try what it is? Or not interested? Tell me.
no, we are interested, but I forgot actually. It's a view, virtual again, virtual provider. It doesn't store data. It just runtime reads data from source.
Okay, So if you go to any client and ask them, and client asks, okay, your BW takes a lot of time and this is useless. You develop everything in development and then send it to quality and production. This process whole takes a lot of time. I'm not able to understand what your reports are doing and all that. So open ODS view is one option where you can quickly create an open ODS view. It's not physically storing data. It's not doing any kind of load. It is it is going to your S4 system and just showing the report quickly. Easiest way to do your initial POCs, to show it to your client. Client wanted to see the report. You don't have enough time to show that report. Through open ODS view, you can quickly show that. So this is a view. From name itself, it is clear, right? It's a view. So this view will give access to your source. So through SDA, you can access it. Next is through consumption of your CDS view through in BEX query via transient providers. Transient for provider were there in BW before also. So who knows what is transient provider?
These virtual providers.
These are virtual providers. So this, as from name also, this is again very simple. It's a temporary. So if you want to quickly access the data through transit provider, through a transit provider also, you can access your CDS view. Okay. So now you have to find out what is the difference between this transit provider, open ODS view and virtual provider. This is homework for you guys. Anytime I can ask this question. Okay. Again, this is not related to this topic. So I'll just jump to the next scenario where you can create a data source. Where you can create a data source on top of your CDS view and consume that in BW. So how you will create a data source in, so CDS, say you're using the standard whatever C underscore sales order, say that CDS view you are using. So you can create a data source in your BW system where you can define your CDS view name. So ultimately CDS view is what? Ultimately it's a view. You remember we used to create a view in SE11. So similar, it is a view. If you go to SE11 and search for your CDS view name, you will get it over there. So it's ultimately a view. It's not physically storing the data, right? So you can create a data source on top of it. You can replicate your views, and in the BW side, you can create a data source. Similarly, in RS02 also, I have seen many people using, who are like using the ECC system. There also they can, through RS02, they consume the CDS views. Okay, so these are the use cases where you are consuming your CDS view through open ODS view. A transactional master data from S4 system, analytical virtual data model consumed by BW, open CDS view. This scenario is valid for BW, S4 deployed across different HANA instances. And but the prerequisite for it will be SDA should be configured. So usually when clients are going for BW4 HANA system, usually they go for SDA also. SDA or SLT or something they will be having. So this option would be very good in that case. What capability it provide? It provide flexibility, agile modeling through open ODS view, and a real-time access to S4 OLTP data. So I told you this is the quickest way where you can create your report and show it to your client. And with in agile methods, it can be very useful, where in your workshops you can show it to your client. Okay, recommended to implement based on S4 ABAP CDS interface, reuse views. Capability to enrich data from S4 analyticals view with BW managed master data. So here you can use hierarchies as well. And then support all BEX reporting capabilities. And security will be as you define in your BW authorization. Okay, OpenODS view can also be materialized, persisted in BW for a snapshot scenario. So again, if you want to persist it, you can do it, otherwise not required.
So now, so in our training system, this SDA would be configured. Can we create this? Or
Need to check. I'm not sure if SDA is there. You can go and check the option of the SDA.
so we need to create these remote connections, right? In provisioning,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
yes. So there it will ask for this server and all details. So I don't
Yes.
see.
You need to explore that in the system. I am not sure if SDA is there. Okay. To then the other scenario where the transient providers are used. So this mainly leverage the BEX capability and valid for the embedded BW setup. So this option also we can use, but it has some limitation that it does not support the BEX, BW hierarchies, nodes variable and authorization and all. So in certain cases where these are not really relevant, in that case you can use it, but mostly which I think will be used in future is this option where you can create a CDS in B4 HANA systems. This will be used because going forward, what SAP is doing is instead of standard extractor, they are slowly moving to the CDS. So more and more CDS views they are creating. They are standardizing all this CDS view. So instead of the standard contains standard extractors, it will be very easy for us to switch to the CDS views, isn't it? So this I would say would be a very good option. So extract data from S4 to BW using CDS view via ODP CDS source system. So if you log into this your BW system, BW modeling perspective, you will see this option of ODP CDS. So how your CDS will be an ODP enabled?
There's a program, right, for
Yeah, that
enable that.
Hmm.
One the checkbox has to enable for that.
Hmm. Yeah. So you have to any extractor, even the BW standard extractor, in BW4 HANA system, you know that, right? Only it supports only ODP enabled extractors. It does not support the old extractors. So all the standard extractors also you have to make them ODP enabled. There is a program with which you can enable it as a ODP enabled. I hope all of you know this.
Yeah, we have that program.
Yeah. And this BW present as a data warehouse with data consolidated from multiple sources and S4 as one of the many sources. So this is what we talked some time back, right? You have to get the S4 data and you have to get non-SAP data also. In that case, anyways, we have to use BW system. So in that case, this kind of scenario, in such kind of scenarios, this option will be very helpful. And if you wanted to use all the reporting features and all, and master data concept and everything, so anyways this option would be good. Okay, so basically this is covering all these points. Now what are the things which you need to consider when you go for this option 3, where you have to define your deltas also. So who knows how the delta works in CDS? Some of you have attended embedded analytics training also, right? Who was that?
already there in a presentation. Data extraction, I mean delta enabled, right? So it's an annotation.
Okay. So how to use it?
We need to give that annotation and enable it to true. It should take care of by itself with that annotation.
Okay. Okay, so these are the annotations which you use when you define your delta. This will again work similar to your BW. In RSO2, we used to define the delta specific field, then upper limit and lower limit, and then we used to create a custom extractors, right? So similarly, you can define this annotation on which field you want to define it, what delays. By default, it will be 1800, but how much delay is possible? Do you want to detect any delete records, or do you want to ignore deletion after so many days? So all those annotations are available. With those annotation defining, you can define your delta. Okay, and if you want to have the real-time replication as possible, so in process chains there is a streaming mode option is also available. So again, near real-time kind of thing, that is also possible now with CDS and BW. So in this again, this annotations are just explained in detail. So that is what I told you, on what element you want to define it, how much delay you want is possible, and whether you want to detect the deleted record. So how exactly it is working? This is, I don't know this picture is visible properly or not, but basically you will have your ODQ framework. Through ODQ framework, you define your so through CDS views you will define, which will be accessed through your ODQ framework, and then your data will flow whenever you request through your DTP. The request will send to this ODP, and through your CDS view you can consume that data. Okay, so have you heard about CDC in CDS?
It's change delta capture, right?
What is that?
It means any change made is written to the logging tables, and so it's different type. We have timestamp, we have numeric pointers. So the change delta capture, any change made to the underlying tables, that should be logged in the logging table.
Okay, so this is another way of capturing your delta records, where you define the CDC in your CDS. So one is annotations. Again, this is delta only. It's not different from delta, but rather than using those annotations of the delta specific field and all, here you can define the change data capture, CDC. And then whether you want it to be automatically, where system defines on what basis it should pick up the data, and you can define the mapping and all, joins and mapping and all. So these are the annotations you can use in your CDS views. And how many of you know SLT concept? How many of you know?
Yeah, Sunil, I know.
Yeah, so how SLT delta works?
Yeah, so currently we have these demons assigned, and
Yeah.
yeah, so as soon as the, I mean, there are two mechanisms, right? I mean, uh, so we have as soon as you schedule these jobs, demon jobs, and if there's any posting, it will pull those uh, changes.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so there is something called triggers, database triggers, right? That happens in SLT. So in a similar way, here also you will have the database triggers through which your changes are captured. So here you can see there is a SLT. So whenever a database trigger happen, your changes are captured, that is moved to ODQ, and through ODQ you can access it through BW, in BW. So again, these are annotation which you need to define in CDS.
Sonal, like if I'm building the CDS based on 2-3 tables, will this CDC work? Is there anything that needs to be taken care of?
Hello, Prashant, I could not hear you properly. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Anyone
Yeah.
can?
Yeah. Sonal, if it is like this is SLT usually work with table level, right?
Huh,
So
huh,
if I'm building a CDS view based on
huh,
multiple tables,
huh.
so is there anything we should take care to utilize the CDC logic?
Anything we need to take care?
Yeah, I mean, like, does that work with when I build, multiple tables or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, then you have to wherever you're defining this, your change data capture on a specific table, you will trigger it, right? Even though you're joining with other, so it's not like for every field you will say that whatever database trigger ever, there also you need to define it. So particularly for which table this should work.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the key point is you need to mention the key fields explicitly. That's what I came to know. So I'm not well versed, but I think you need to mention the key fields of tables.
Okay. Okay. Meaning there should be, we should identify which table would be the driver for the delta trigger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So these are just the tools which support or the SQL view for ABAP CDC. So this is so this part Arnika has already covered. So a few points which I wanted to cover in this section. So let's discuss about the S4 system. So how many of you know that what exactly is changed between the ECC and S4 system? What basically is adding value to the S4 system?
Database itself.
Sorry?
Database itself, earlier it was Oracle and now HANA.
Mm-hmm.
Second is they have introduced like CDS views.
And it is like instead of multiple tables, there are one couple of centralized tables where which hold the data. I mean, like
Exactly.
the number of tables have reduced significantly.
Exactly. So this is the one main point where they have simplified these tables a lot. So previously in finance especially, we were accessing so many tables for AR, AP, GL, for everything. There were so many tables and so many extractor, so many complications, especially I would say in terms of finance where you have the primary cost, secondary cost, controlling and all that. So now lot of it has been simplified and now we have the standard one important table, AC doc A. So AC doc A, from name itself, it is very clear that it's an accounting document on actuals. So how we pronounce is AC Doc A. So it is for actuals. Next is AC Doc P, which is for your planning and budgeting. So, and there are one for totals also, it seems, but I'm not mainly seen that being used much. Maybe for some summary purpose it will be used. And one is for consolidations also, which is AC Doc U. Okay, so now, so the main concept of this was we had a primary cost, we had a secondary cost. So what is the use of the primary cost? Primary cost is more or like your GL driven. So whatever the statements which your company, your client has to generate is for the external entities. What do you mean by external entities? Like government bodies, where they wanted to see your financial statements for like balance sheet, profit and loss, and all those kind of statements where you have to send it to your government bodies or external agencies where they analyze how your company is doing. That is what is called the primary cost kind of reporting. Second is your secondary cost. What is secondary cost? Which is created for the internal purposes, like your management or CEO wanted to see what is going on, how your sales is doing, or how your uh, management is working and all that. So all that kind of reports where you what we used to call it a secondary. So now what SAP has done, rather than storing all this information in a separate table, it's stored in the same AC docket. But how would you access it? How would you know? So again, this is like functional job, but I'm telling you from an overview point of view, because these are the very basic of S4 you should know. Until unless you understand some basics of even until unless you have some basic financial the functional understanding, it would be difficult for you to implement it. Right now we should not just blindly go by a DSO or a composite provider or a report. We should understand it functionally as well. Okay, so now what SAP has done based on different GL types. So previously the primary cost was GL driven. Now secondary cost was not GL driven. Now what they have done, secondary cost also they have made as a GL driven. There will be a GL account for it. Okay, and based on the type, the GL type, and there are some cost categories, and there are 2-3 fields. Again, it changes from client to client and the functional configuration, how your functional team is doing. This can change little bit because of course every project will have some kind of customization, right? So based on that, like 2-3 categories will be there on which you will define your what kind of so cost it is and all that. So all that definition you will be getting from the functional team. So now from BW perspective, we are not using the 0, FIGL, 4, AR, AP, all those extractors. Now what is there? 0 FIGL, AC doc A underscore 10, AC doc A underscore 20. Similarly for planning, you will have some separate extractors and all. Okay, so all these things, what we call in AC doc A, it's actual data and it is universal general entry. Now what it is called? Universal general. Got it? So of course you will have CDS views also on top of it, but you have to understand what kind of CDS view it is. What just don't go blindly by the data fields. It is taking all the data fields from AC Doka and that's okay. Try to understand what kind of filters that CDS view is putting. If it is putting filter based on say primary cost and you are making a report for secondary cost, then of course that report will be wrong, right? So you need to understand the functionality also of the CDS view. what it is doing. So from Fioriab library or from the system, you can go through it and understand what that CDS view is doing on a high level. Then of course you have to discuss that with your functional consultants as well. So what the secondary cost reports are usually called? These are comes under the controlling area. So there is two things, right? FICO. So as I said, FI is primary. Those are like external, the reports which you generate for the external bodies. And secondary are like controlling, which you usually do it for the your internal purposes for your company. So just now we have discussed the virtual data model. How many of you remember what is virtual data model? Anybody remember virtual data model?
Yeah, so it's like a view that you are creating on any table.
Virtual data model are nothing but your basic consumption and composite views.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it is directly table, then basic and like
Yeah.
that.
So what you do, you create a structure like three basic view define, on top of that you will define two composite view, and then finally a consumption view. That is nothing but your what we used to call a data flow before, right? So similarly, you can, this whole combination is called virtual data model. This is all been discussed already.
So just a question, Sonal.
Hmm.
The previous versions of HCC, we had clusters, pools, and if we come to the HR, we had info types, right? So do we still have those in S4? I mean, uh, in our HANA system still? S4
Which
HANA?
type?
So we had something called cluster tables, table pools, and for HR we had info types, right? So do we still have those functions?
Cluster tables and all, it should be there. I mean, all tables are there. It's not like all tables are removed. It's just, I'll come to that point also. Then at that time, I'll explain you. But more or less, table wise, the transparent tables and all are still there. But cluster table and all, I don't know if still there or not. Table wise, it has not changed much, but it's more like they have consolidated into simplified tables, you can say now. Okay. Now this part we discussed some time back also. In Fiori also, again we have the different kind of types where you can create based on your business requirement. You can create either the multi-dimensional report, or you can create the reports list report, or analytical list page. I talked to you sometimes back about this, right? So list report is nothing but your table, a table kind of structure where you want a very simple reports. These are the so many rows, these are so many columns, and this is what simple reports I wanted to show in a table format. In that case, you will use the the list report. Multi-dimensional report will have some kind of other than table, it will have some further details, drill downs and everything. And finally, the analytical list page. This is something which will provide you the charts also. Okay, so I mean, I'll quickly show you one more thing. So second, let me stop my screen and share it again. I wanted to show you how this, and so this is one blog which I have written. I'll share the link also with you guys, and just if you have, okay, I'll just quickly show you this thing so that you get a feel of how the Fiori reports will be like. Okay, so this is called the analytic list page. Here I can have the visual filters. Here I can define the charts also, and here I can have the table also. This is the type of analytical list page which can be created within Fiori. So as I said, some of your client are not going for BW system. Why? Has anybody come
They
across?
think that embedded analytics can do their reporting because they might be a mid-size business
Correct,
or a
correct.
small size business.
Correct, correct. So now there are many clients like Arnika's client. He is not interested in BW system. Why? Because SAP has sold them S4 saying that you can do your analytical reports also here. So you don't need to invest in any other system. So they are not going. But do you think is it a good idea to just use S4 system? What is your thought about it?
So unless they are, I mean, they need the BW for data warehousing. Right? If they need to store data and do consolidate and do that kind of analysis, then they would need BW. If it is just the transaction data, then they don't need.
Correct. So that is the reason, as a BW consultant, when you come to an architect role and all, you need to come across such kind of questions where client will say, why should I invest on something which S4 is already providing? So what SAP basically recommend is 20 to 30% of your reporting requirement can be met by embedded analytics, but it should not be like 100% everything are using S4. Otherwise you are loading your S4 system, right? If your S4 system is lightweight, it will be handled well. But when we are talking about clients like Medtronic or Nestle or all these big clients where they have the business across the globe, do you think it is wise to load your S4 system completely for everything? No, right? They use different servers also, even for different geographies. Why they do so? Because they don't want to, first of all, share all the information. They can talk between the system if they want any kind of information, but also they want to separate the business of each country or each geography will be different. Like the Nestle does business in Switzerland, it will not be same in US or it will not be same in Australia, because the um, the rules or the rules and regulation for every country will be different, right? The how you are doing your financial statements in Australia will be different from how you are doing in the Canada, isn't it? So similar thing. So that is why S4 system we can use for the lightweight kind of reports, or the system where you have to consolidate data from different legacy system and all, there the BW4 HANA system will come in picture. Okay, but if your system is a lightweight, there are a small company, it is a small company not having lot of expansion and all, but they wanted to have some good visibility on the reports. They don't want to invest on SSE also. SSE has a really good fancy reporting stuff and all, but it's not very relevant for them, right? So in that case, they can go for Fiori. In Fiori, if they simply use the list report, okay, list report is basically this part. It will just show you this much information with a filter. Okay, so this is just table and rows. But when it comes to ALP, you can have a chart also. Again, different kind of charts would be possible, and visual filter. These things are called visual filter. So it is little bit fancy item, I would say, in Fiori, where you can, in a small budget, you can achieve and you can help your user in terms of um, having a good report. Plus, it can show you KPIs also. Okay, so we talked about Fiori part so much. So one more point I wanted to add you, and maybe this block will be little bit more information for you, but go through it. Okay, and I just will quickly cover this point. So we talked about the Fiori Launchpad and Fiori Designer. That part is clear to you, right? Is it not clear to anyone? Please ask me again, I'll explain it. But next, what I wanted to cover, that would not be useful until unless you understand the point. Why we use Fiori in Designer and Fiori Launchpad? I explained just some time back.
So Launchpad will show all your tiles there, right? I mean, and that can be used for this. You can go to the report from there. But designer is where you would design those tiles. I mean, you.
Correct, correct. So when you have a requirement where you have to simply create the CDS views and expose it to your Fiori. You do not have any additional tool. You cannot do any kind of customization in Fiori side. You do not have any Fiori consultant. You will just at max you will define your catalog and group in your Fiori designer and then show it in the Fiori launchpad. This is a very, very simple case. Now your client want a customization. They want all this. So this report will not be possible easily through the Fiori Launchpad and Designer. Okay. So they want all this customization. They want customized CDS view. The requirement is like that, where they want to filter it on the different kind of fields and all, visual filters and all. So through manage KPI also you can create ALP. Okay, but if you wanted to have a filter, so there is a tile called manage KPI. Like we have query browser, view browser, there is a manage KPI also. Through that you can create your list report, multidimensional report or ALP. Similar to this report you can clear, but not exactly this. Okay, so in that case there is no customization. You don't need any Fiori consultant. But if they want a customization, like in this case, there are two tabs. One is this visual filter, one is compact filter, which screenshot I do not have right now. But otherwise, if you have the compact filter where they wanted to select a say date. So date, again, they want a custom date filter. Like I can select today's date, or I can select this month date, or I can select a range. It's my wish. That is what user comes and tell you. Okay. So how would you achieve that? You will need a customization. What kind of customization? Is it possible from CDS? No, it will not be possible from CDS. Then where? In Fiori. In Fiori, if you want to customize it, what skill set you will need?
Fiori designer.
Yeah, Fiori designer you will need. They should have the UI skills, which is like Java and XML, and I don't know what all different kind of languages are required in that. UI developer or UI designers are very different skill. It's not like ABAP or SQL, right? So they will know XML, they will know Java, and they will code at their side. Where they will code? Do you think they will code in Fiori Designer or Launchpad?
BAS.
Fiori designer.
No,
They,
not Fiori
they have a
Designer.
separate tool called BAS, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that
So
tool?
BAS. So that is what I'm showing in the screen. Okay.
Okay.
This name. Business Application Studio. And before BAS, what was there?
I think Lumira Studio, I guess. That
No,
was.
no, no. For Fiori, there was Web IDE. Any one of you have heard about Web IDE? No. So there was a tool called Web IDE, which is now changed to Business Application Studio. Guys, there are so many things which are coming new and you should all be aware about it. So now you cannot limit yourself only to BW. Okay, so again, I'm covering only the overview so that you know all this concept. When you talk to any Fiori consultant, that side is completely gray for you right now, right? You don't know how FI consultant is writing the code. Do you know that? No, right? So that's why I'm telling all these things so that you have an overall picture of it. Okay, so there is something called business application studio tool where they will go and write the code. So this blog, again, as I said, it's little bit more than it might be little bit more than what you are expecting, but or little high on the level than BW, but just go through it where you can create such kind of Fiori reports in using the embedded analytics. Okay, so these are the so many steps which you need to do to define all this report. Okay, so if ever you get a chance to work in an embedded analytics area, this many kind of steps you need to perform to create this report. Okay. Okay. Okay, then again, it's not very complicated. Just step by step, you need to follow it and it can be achieved.
Can you share this blog link?
I have already shared it on the chat. Can you see it?
Yeah, let me check.
Okay. So,
Okay.
okay. So this blog is basically talking about the analytical list page and business application studio, what you need to do, and what basically UI. This again is not part of this training, but just I'm telling you, there are something called UI annotations in CDS. So why we use UI annotation? From the name itself, it's clear, right? What is UI? UI is something related to Fiori. So whatever front end you are doing, right, from defining the rows to columns to filters and everything, you can do from CDS side. So in this particular build, what I have done, maximum possible which is defined from CDS side, that I have defined through UI annotations. And whatever was not possible through CDS, those customizations were done in Fiori side. Okay, this is in short, I can tell you. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are other KPI modeling apps also, which is possible with Fiori. Okay. So there are many different usages that are possible. So even for as for embedded analytics world, this is very many options are available now for the client. Okay. So um, whole thing of now SAP area is that you cannot restrict yourself to just BW. Now, before what used to happen, we used to have this 3.0 system which is migrated to 3.5. Okay, what are the new feature of 3.5? I know BW. Now next is 7.0, 7.3. Whatever additional feature SAP has added, that was enough for me to know. Now, do you think any client work like that? Now it's not restricted only to the SAP. It's now moved to non-SAP areas also. Many clients who are going on a different cloud. So, Chandrima, you already told, right? Your client is using Snowflakes. So, can you say that I do not have that skill set, or I don't want to learn it because I'm very happy with BW? Can you say that to any client? No, so you need to understand at least the basic. You might have not used snowflakes, but you should know what snowflakes is, what value snowflakes is adding. Similarly, in SAP area, so snowflakes is again a very huge topic. But what I'm saying, on a higher level, you should be well aware about what is happening in the industry. At least this is very valid for the senior consultants. Maybe juniors still have time to learn all these things, but especially to the seniors I'm talking about, okay? So moving to HANA, it's very important. It's like if you're still in the first class also, I told you, if you're just on the BW, JRSS, guys, it will have major implications on your career if you are still stick to the BW and you're not moving to HANA. So these points are already covered. Anyone heard about embedded BW? This is again old feature. It's not something very new.
Yeah, but mostly used for planning, right?
Not really.
So it's a BW in the S4 system.
Correct.
You can create light-based analytics.
Correct. So again, as I said, if your customer doesn't want to go for a B4 system because their business is not designed in that way or for whatever reason, so in S4 system also, you first option is you can do embedded analytics. Embedded analytics means the CDS type of CDS were created as analytical queries. That is one option. Another option is your embedded BW, which was there from previous versions also. Okay, for like, yeah, it was used for planning purpose also, but some other flows were also available in embedded. So similarly in CDS also, you can have a Fiori app based on your CDS also, CDS views, and you can have a Fiori app based on your Bex query also. By Bex query, I doesn't mean the CDS based Bex query. I mean the proper Bex query, which is on the top of a cube. Okay, so embedded BW, when we are talking about this, basis has to implement that component on your S4 system. Otherwise, it's not available for every S4 system. Okay, so basis has to configure it, then only you can access it. So there are some old Fiori apps which are based on embedded. So this is like now going what I have seen so far. Even I've used it for some of my client, but I didn't find that much flexible because embedded BW has its own limitation. So even if you have to install the content, there is a separate note. It's not like you can go to business content and install it. There is a separate note. You have to follow those steps to even install your business content in embedded BW. Okay, and there are certain apps which will be standard apps which will be created on this flows, which are available on this flows, but again it will have the limitations of security and all. So the roles which are defined for your cube, your database level and all that. So other than your Fiori apps access and all, this is you have to give that define different roles and authorization. So it has a lot of restriction in that terms, I would say. But this is one of the option which is available. How many of clients are using or not using, it's up to them, but this option is available, which you should be aware about. So still I would recommend, if you come across any requirement where client is using the Bex, the embedded BW based Bex queries in their Fiori apps, in the Fiori app library also you can find out that, and you can suggest there is another because what I have seen is mostly CDS views are CDS based apps are also available. So instead of asking them to use the Bex based apps, use the CDS based apps. Client might not know, just they might go from based on their description what is given in the Fiori app library, or even functional team will not understand the difference between the two, right? So in that case you can suggest them. Usually functional team knows at least this basic of the Fiori, but you can suggest it. Okay, is it clear so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is again comparison. So we have come across so many points. Then in what cases we should go for BW, in what cases we go for S4 system. So this is basically comparing the same thing. So when we use BW system, supporting strategic and tactical decisions. What do you mean by strategic and tactical decisions? How that BW supports? This is not related to B4, huh? I'm just talking still in terms of BW. So you should know all these things.
Yeah, so when they're saying strategical, I mean this is for the managers to make strategy and planning and all that thing, right? So wherein they just they need data from all different. I mean, it's not limited to um, S4 only, right? It could be from outside also.
Hmm.
So within, if you say S4 embedded analytics, it would be from S4 only.
Hmm.
But here I mean, say you want to see what was your I mean sales in last quarter, or I mean some rolling period and all that. So that kind of decisions, I mean,
Hmm.
analysis you can do with this enterprise, but that would be difficult with your S4.
Hmm.
So when I'm saying strategic and tactical decision based on this data, I mean, where they can do all this analysis, I mean, that can be available in BW.
Hmm. Hmm. So whatever different, how a customer will do that? See, you are integrating data from a different sources, and then you are doing a drill down. You are creating charts, you are creating graphs, you are creating dashboards. All these things will help business in decision making, right? So whatever strategies they wanted to define, this kind of reports will help them. Is it possible with your simple ABAP reports?
No.
No, right? So, but why then we use S4 system?
So this is, I mean, like I said, I mean, day to day and small set of data that you want to see.
Right. So basically, what was the purpose of ECC? Day-to-day transaction. When they are wanting to, when the user wanted to create a sales order or purchase order, can they create it in BW? No,
No.
right? They have to use ECC system. So, and reporting is possible in ECC also. You can create ABAP reports, but ABAP reports are not so good to create so that management take a decision based on that. Right? That's why they use BW. It provides the history also. You can provide different kind of drill downs. You can get so many different things. That was the initial purpose of developing a business warehouse, right? So your S4 is this is very basic thing which I'm just revising again to you guys so that you understand the whole purpose of S4 and B4. Still it is same. It's not like we are not going away from BW. Okay, so still it is there. Now BW is used for integration, harmonization, consolidation and historization. Okay, so we are still integrating data from different sources. We are harmonizing it. We are consolidating it, right? But you cannot have a real-time data. Near real-time is possible in BW still, but that is possible only with S4 system. Okay, here we have multi-source data and complex business logics also you can define in BW. And here we have the single source data and lightweight modeling and consumption is possible. This is something I would say it's added in S4 where you can do embedded analytics. So you can say it is a lightweight modeling, right? And based on an individual architecture, including persistence, you can persist data also, and planning and predictive capabilities. You can have data lifecycle and data governance. So there are organizations where they still want 10-year, 20-year-old data. So they cannot store that in S4 system. They have to have some archiving strategy, or they have to have some kind of strategy where they can store all this data for a at a lower cost, but at same time they don't want to lose that data. Okay, so in all that case, BW is still useful. So all these things are basically here and there are covered in your trainings, right?
Yes, yes, Sonal.
Yeah, and BW migration also is covered. So this is not something new. Yeah, this is. Anybody knows compatibility views?
No.
Uh, if I remember correctly, it is like if you are looking for something which was in old world, ERP world, there would be something corresponding to it in S4 world, which they say like, okay, you can just use it as a view. It is compatible to S4.
Correct.
The basic table may not be available, but a similar view of the data is available.
Okay, so sometimes back I discussed about this AC doc A and AC doc P table and how that um, AC doc A is now consolidating all the different tables from AR, AP, GL, right? So ultimately, in background, the main table is AC doc A, where it will, what kind of information AC doc A will be having? It will be having GL account, AR, AP, material costing or something. Then controlling data it will be having. Then asset accounting it will be having. So many different things it will be having. So of course it is based on so many different table which were there in the old world. BSAG and all that tables which were there, which is still there, which it will be still there, is just that it will be it will not be directly used now. Everything will be directed to AC Doka. So when we are talking about the consolidated view, sorry, compatibility views, so what it does is basically for you it will be same table. For example, COEP. COEP is still a COEP for you, but in the background, if you just drill down and drill down, you will get an AC doc A table. Are you getting my point? So basically, if you go to any table and you get a CDS view based on it, if you further drill down to it, you will get an AC docket table only. So whatever the SAP has given, so from how it is impacting you, this is impacting you in a way, the extractor which you have built right now, say it is on COEP table, so you will continue to use that only. It's just that in the background, what it is extracting, that is based on your AC docket table. Clear? So with compatibility view, you know, your 70% of your extractors will work seamlessly. You don't have to make any special effort to replace all that and do, okay, now we are not using COP, then everything I need to change. So that you don't have to do. Yes, and we already discussed that the CDS based extractor will be your future alternative. So if your client is moving to the S4 system, you need to understand what will be the impacts on your extractors, which all extractor needs to be replaced, how client wanted to do that. Of course, none of your client will go on the day one, they'll replace everything and use the new one, right? So there are phases in which you need to define all that. Clear? So some things I'm telling to the because this is a mixed crowd in this training. So some things I'm telling you in terms of the senior consultant, what they should know, and some things I have to explain to the junior level also, so that they should not, it should not be like over their head what we are explaining. So that is basically covers everything. Any question, any doubt so far, or approach wise also, if you feel like what will be the better option, how should we go for it, or any kind of conceptual question also which you can discuss in this forum.
No, Sonal, we're good. It looks like we have an overview of CDS views, but then, actually, it doesn't eliminate our dependency to code or anything. Probably we should practice or have a work hands-on. Right now, we'll at least know that what is the feature and functions that we can enable using CDS views. But yes, if somebody really wants to, build a CDS view, probably we are not ready yet.
Okay, so one more point I wanted to discuss, especially with the BW consultant, because the first thing, whenever we see the code, we say, oh, it's difficult. CDS views are very easy. CDS views are nothing but your joins. How you do joins in your HANA views. Similar way is just that you need to write the code. Okay, so based on your joins, again, CDS will have its own limitation. You cannot simply aggregate data in the same CDS view. You might need to define different levels to do that calculation. The things which are possible in one cube, you might need to define 4 CDS views for that, because the way it codes, that is different. But believe me, it's not that difficult. It's just the BW consultants have that perspective of this is coding, that means it is difficult. It is not, it's very easy compared to ABAP, because standard annotations are given by SAP, and mostly you will use the standard annotations. Standard views are given by SAP, that you can take it as your base. Like I said, VBAK, VBAP, there must be some view which is already joining these two tables. So you can use that based on whether you want to have header data or item data, you can use it, or schedule line data. Everything will be all connected. You just have to give effort in finding out the right CDS view for you, for your requirement.
So for practicing, Sonal, we don't have to go to S4 HANA DB, right?
In
ABAP,
our perspective, in our perspective.
ABAP perspective, we can just create
Yes,
view. With those statements, and we can.
yes, Anika has already done that, right? But you have to do hands-on. Until unless you do it, you will not see. 1 month is a big time. I understand you must be busy with your projects and all, but people, especially who are on bench, this is a very good opportunity to make complete use of your this period where you are getting access for 1 month.
No, so in this training, we have not seen that somebody doing it. So we have to just go through this document and do it.
What training? What you have not seen?
Yeah, how? No, where do we go and create all those things?
Anika has shown you, right? There are exercises given. Arnika has shown you how she has created the CDS views,
Yeah, that. Yeah.
right?
Can we create small CDS view now? I mean, just
Yes, you can.
to, can you show? I mean, where exactly to go? So in a back perspective.
You
I mean,
share your screen.
yes, yes.
Arnika has already shown that. I'll show you
Yeah,
again.
I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so here, this is the one, right? ABAP
Yes, ABAP
perspective.
perspective. Log
Yeah.
into your
So
S4
here,
system.
okay, S4.
Hmm.
I can
This
see
is
here.
This is not S4.
But
It is showing
okay, so
data
I have
source.
to add.
You have to add your systems. Go to why you're not getting system tab? This is
In a BW perspective, I can see, okay, these two fine. Okay, but for
this is your BW perspective. Go
yeah,
to
but
ABAP
yeah,
perspective.
but here
There you should have an additional tab of system.
So
that
that would be a modeling perspective, right?
modeling
Change in the perspective. Need to change in that perspective.
okay, I'm not okay. BW is
Yes,
fine.
select that ABAP. Select that ABAP perspective first.
Yes, I'm there now. Now next is
Yes. Now click on that. S4H.
okay.
S4H is there now. You
Mhm.
already have imported this system, right?
Yes. From BW perspective, I imported.
Okay,
So
then
you have
click
to add
on
it.
new. Yeah, new you
Okay.
click ABAP project.
Okay, ABAP project, and then again
S4H.
S4 system.
okay,
S4H. Type there
yeah,
S4H.
yeah, this one. Okay, that's it. Next.
Yeah. 400 and you
Okay,
plus.
I'll change it. Okay, fine. Okay, I got confused. Okay, here I can create.
Sonal,
And
I have that code in Notepad. Shall I send it to them?
Yeah. You can share. Okay. So, Prajakta, if you want to access the existing CDS views, you can find it from here, from your system library.
okay.
Okay.
System
And
level.
these are the different packages, the standard package. You need to identify which view you want to use. But otherwise, in your local also, you can create it. Go up. These are all like standard packages or already
Yeah,
available.
correct.
In your local, in your training
Yeah,
009, right click. Up. Trainee 009, you can see in your local objects, right? Not here.
here.
Yes.
Okay.
Right click. New.
Okay, that
Other
package.
ABAP repository object. You want to create package, you can, but
Yeah.
here also. Now type data definition.
Yeah, CDS is there. All. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
That
can see data
definition.
definition, right? Yes,
Yes.
select that one. Next.
Okay.
Create, give whatever name you wanted to give.
Okay. Fine. Test object cannot be created in foreign namespace.
Give
You have
some
to give
other
Z.
name.
See.
Something valid, some given.
Give Z, start with Z name, na?
Okay, got it.
And click on next.
Okay. It's asking for
Next.
I did finish.
Okay. Because it asked for that view. You are not given that. That's why.
Okay, I'll
You
delete
have to
this.
click on next, not finish.
Yeah, I'll create one more.
Create a new. Next.
Yes.
Here, see, this is what Annika was also talking some time back. Whatever default you wanted to define, like somebody asked, is there any default annotations which you have compulsory annotations? So based on your requirement, whether you wanted to define just a view based on one table, or you want to join it with some other, or you want to associate it with other. So based on that, you will select it like define view with a join, with association, whatever you choose it. For example, you want to define it for only one view. So now create on finish, Prajakta.
Yeah.
Why it is happening?
Don't know.
Close all this. Why it is failed to create? Click it on again. Z
Can I
test.
create it again?
No. Z
No,
test
no.
underscore CDS.
Okay.
Anika, you could create it, right?
Yes, yes. Fail to create the parts controls. What is that? Is VPN and all is connected, right? It will not allow
Yes,
otherwise.
it's connected. VPN is
Let,
fine.
let me check once.
Okay, let me try one more time.
Uh,
Maybe I'm missing something.
Not really. This time it should have created.
Paste.
Next. Next.
So ideally this the below code that should come in
Mhm.
your view.
Okay, let me finish.
Either some installation problem or something. Can somebody else try it?
Okay,
For
let me
me
stop
it is
sharing.
working. Yes, Sonal. I think don't
Some
know. They are.
installation problem is there, Rajika. Or
Okay.
your Java or something is still not working. Can
Yeah.
somebody else try, please?
How to overcome this issue? Any idea or any patch to install or something?
I think something in Java is missing, looks like. Java language, illegal augment exception.
Java installation file was given. Na? You
Yes.
had all that set up. Did you do
I
that?
did everything. Yes.
Anybody else tried from the team? Is anyone replying, or I have to take the names?
Yes.
Don't know, but this is
Prashant,
This
from.
Sanjeeva.
JRE, right? Arnika, this JRE we supposed to save in this folder, right? In Eclipse, this JRE for
Step by step, I had followed that installation is given. So
yes,
yeah,
yes, I did the same thing.
for anyone it is not easy. This highest. So this
SDK.
one you did right. Need to
Yes, yes, I
copy
did.
GRE. Okay, go to the
SDK and this JRE, right? See this one.
yes.
Guys, I want somebody else also to check here in parallel. Dwarika.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Okay, let me stop sharing. SDK.
Anyone tried? Selvarani, you there? Hello?
Yeah, hi Sonu.
Yeah, have you tried?
Yeah, I'm just trying now to Eclipse.
Satish Prabhu? Satish Prabhu, are you there? Chandrima, Prashant, any one of you tried?
Looks like hey, Sunil, looks like my password isn't working for S4H. I'm just trying on that.
Mm-hmm. Chandrima? Chandrima, are you there?
Sorry, I was working on something client urgent. So, what are we talking about? Sorry, I lost what was being discussed.
We are talking about accessing the CDS view. Prajakta is having issue, some installation issue. She is not able to create the CDS.
Okay.
So can you just log into your ABAP perspective and try to create one CDS view?
In S4, right? Okay. So,
Not in, yeah. Sorry,
S4.
in S4, yeah. ABAP perspective, S4.
So, let me try. Yeah, let me share my screen. Just let me know if
Yeah.
this is it.
Even I had this part control error.
Okay. So something you are missing in your installation, because same method Annika has followed, she is able to create it. So something is wrong with your installation.
This is it, right? Let me add some. Wait.
Yes. Yes.
Let me try again. New. Okay, I'll start with the data definition. Right? The CDS underscore rename it.
Sunil, I got same error.
Okay. Let's see if
So next. Partner not reached.
you're not connected to VPN, I think.
How is it? Yeah, it got disconnected.
So Deepak, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So Deepak, have you tried? Because most of these are facing this problem. So something is either missing in Java installation.
Yeah, I already actually have Eclipse installed earlier, and I am able to open and create CDS views.
You're able to do it.
But the way I did it last time, the way of installation is changed this time. Because earlier Java was available in our PC at the IBM, but this time what we did, we just asked them to copy one Java folder into the directory where Eclipse is Eclipse exe file is there, and then from there they need to install the Eclipse, and it worked for all of them.
No. Reference object is not required.
Not required. Huh?
Next,
No, not
click on
required.
next.
Close it. Yeah. Click on next. Next. Next.
When view,
Data view. Okay. Finish.
like it's working.
Please able to.
It is what?
So like everyone followed the same way to install it.
So Prajakta,
Yes.
something is missing in your installation. Take the Java file. It was who is sharing the screen?
It's Sanjeeva.
Sanjeeva. So take the Java file from him. Again, do the installation and check it.
Yeah, sure.
Who else was facing this
And
problem?
one more thing, maybe you can try restarting your system. I was
Okay.
getting one error today, like I was not able to connect to the ABAP view. Okay, then I restart my system, and after that everything was working fine. So
Okay,
please
let
try
me.
restarting your system also, then try.
Okay, I will try. Else, can someone please save that JRE file into a shared folder so I can copy it into that requested. I mean,
That will help actually, because this Prashant,
I
I'm also
think
getting the same error.
that is I think already there. In the zip file, we need to
hmm.
install that, and we need to copy GRE file from there. If you go the system setup thing, so it is already available there.
Okay.
Okay, so Prajakta, try it today itself. Okay.
Yes, I will try today.
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is now we are almost finishing this theory session. So I think only one session additional topic that is also not part of this course, but because people has requested, that's why this additional topic of AMDP was added, which will be covered on Monday. Okay. And after that, you have the hands-on session. So almost you have finished the uh, what do you say, the theory part, but you have, as I said, doing this hands-on is very important. So make use of it. You will have the weekend also. If you do not have bandwidth during the weekdays, use the weekend to have this access. And next week also, if you do the mock project properly, believe me, it will help you to in your future assignments also. We try to cover maximum possible in this training, which is like on a day-to-day activity would be required in any BW4 HANA implementation. And we have discussed about different architecture perspective also, right? So that will definitely will help the senior consultants in taking any kind of decision. But on top of that, if you have any questions, we can discuss it. You know, all the trainers now, other than training also, if you can reach out to them, I'm sure they will help you. And like how this training is being conducted, different trainers were involved. I would expect next time whenever training is happening to some names from this group also will come forward and give the training the similar the other folks have given, because they also got training at some point and they are using that in their projects, right? So that once you prepare all these things, that will help you a lot in your understanding as well when you train somebody else, right? So I would expect some name from this group. Arka, Prajakta,
Yes, no.
Sanjeeva, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prashant. So I would expect you guys to come forward next time and prepare some sessions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sunil, next week would be like a full-time, full day session. I mean, or how is it?
4 hours, same.
Okay.
Monday would be like, and after that it's a mock project. So I think Deepak, you will explain them the mock project, and after they can continue their own, right?
Yeah, I will explain them what is mock project is, what they are supposed to come do. Then I will explain in 1 hour. Then maybe they can continue for the 4 hour. And next day when we join back again, so if they have any query, I will try to resolve that.
Yeah.
So similarly, and it is a like pretty simple, straightforward, mock project. So hopefully we will be able to do it without any,
Yeah. See, with this mock project, you will understand that how it works in a project, in actual project. So if you do hands-on, it's up to you guys. I'm not forcing you. It's just that as a part of this project, you need to complete that mock project. So anyhow, you will do it. But if you try to understand how it is done, what are the different options, if you explore different things, that will help you in your project assignments. So that is the whole purpose of this mock project. Okay. And you have to and I hope you know that as a part of this program, the reskill program, and you will have an assessment. If you clear that assessment, then only your JRSS is going to change, and changing JRSS is very important. I already told you. So the people who are not paying attention, it's up to you, but it's more sooner or later is going to impact you in a different way if you do not switch your JRSS.
And so next week would be 1 week would be for mock, and next last week would be
For the shadowing project. So different trainers will come and share their experience. So again, it might be 1 or 2 hours depending on their availability, and they can explain whatever kind of architecture they are following, what are the challenges they have faced in their project. So
no. So
basically, they will share their experiences.
yeah, no. So Preeti was saying like last 2 weeks are full time. So that's what I'm just wondering. I mean, based on that, we'll make ourselves available. I mean, whether it is just 4 hour or it's 8 hour. I mean, based on that, we'll do the billing as well, right? So
At max, it will be 4 hours,
okay,
but depending on the bandwidth of the trainers, because they will be sharing their experiences from their project. So
okay,
some of they might have some other commitment and all.
okay.
So yeah, time-wise, time will be same, but based on their availability, they can shift time here and there. But it will be between 9:30 to 1:30. Okay. Any other doubt about the program or about the mock project or about the assessment? Okay, fine then guys, continue working on your installation, do the hands-on. More you do, better you will have an understanding.
Thanks, Sonal.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sonal.
Sanjeeva, you are there?